Salutare, om bun! Numele meu este Mihai și mă bucur că ești prezent la un nou material pe canalul de YouTube Vibrații Înalte. Astăzi am pregătit un interviu cât se poate de profund și cât se poate de frumos alături de Irene Menis, care este instructor PSYCH-K. Am descoperit această metodă deja de ceva vreme și sunt cât se poate de fascinat și bucuros de această ustensilă pe care o cunosc. Între timp am devenit și facilitator de basic și advanced și m-aș bucura tare, tare mult să discutăm astăzi mai multe despre această metodă atât de faină alături de un instructor, cum este Irene Menis, și care ne poate oferi mai multă valoare și mai multe informații legate de tot ce înseamnă acest fenomen. Irene Menis, I'm glad that you are here and welcome back to Romania, actually.
Thank you.
Excellent. So I'm really glad that you accepted my invitation and to have like a podcast and to talk lots about PSYCH-K. What is it and how the people can benefit from this method? But before we start, can you tell us something about you? What is your background? How did you started with this method?
Okay. Thank you, Mihai. Thank you for having me, and thank you everybody for listening in. So yes, I'm Irene. I am a PSYCH-K instructor since 12 years. And before I was a physicist, I'm still a physicist. I've been working in space exploration for more than 12 years. And as often happens, something in my life happened. And so I had to take care of myself in a different way. So I had a trauma. I started seeking for some modalities to feel better, to go back to balance. And after a number of experiences, I landed on PSYCH-K. And I immediately realized that it was what I was looking for. So I took my basic workshop right away without even having a session. I've just resonated with it. And I said to myself, this is what I want. So I took my basic workshop, and as soon as I finished my basic workshop, I did a balance. I used it to resolve this drama that I was living at that time, and I immediately perceived a huge shift, but different from any other change experiences that I had. So I realized this is really what I need. So I kept on using consistently for myself for a couple of years, and then I really felt the need to quit my job in space exploration and just become a PSYCH-K instructor to spread it in the world, to offer it to other people.
Excellent. Thank you so much. What I like about PSYCH-K that it has a profound root in the spiritual process. Mm-hmm. So can you tell me, please, what is for you spirituality?
Interesting. So, well, spirituality is something that I have experienced with PSYCH-K. Mm-hmm. And after 12 years, I can say that spirituality is a choice. It's a choice it's the choice behind all our choices. It's the choice to accept that everything is perfect the way it is. It's the choice to accept that whatever happens as a reason, and the reason and the purpose is for us to explore ourselves and to explore our inner wisdom and to expand our potential. And it's the choice to really be as close as possible to the unconditional love, which is not a human state.
Yes. We are working on it.
we keep on working. We will keep on working all life long. But we are a piece of, I believe, in my view of spirituality, we are a piece of a big design that goes beyond our ability to understand it, which is perfect in itself. Mm-hmm. And so we are a little splinter of perfection, and as such we are not perfect.
Yes.
But we cannot be more perfect than we are. So we are perfect, mm-hmm. but we are a little piece of the whole perfection. So it's really accept that I am a spiritual being, having a human experience as you are, as everybody is. Mm-hmm. And so all together we are the one. So spirituality is just be playful with life and accept this perfection. And even if our daily life sometimes is different from the perfection, but everything happens for a reason. And the reason is really to discover our inner perfection, our inner wisdom, and also the wisdom in the others.
Very nice. Okay, thank you so much. It's a really profound, how can I say, description for spirituality. And I would like to know how if somebody is walking to you and they ask, Irene, what do you do for a living? How do you tell them what is PSYCH-K and what you are doing every day?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I have many answers for that
depending
question.
for what you feel for the person in front of you.
Exactly, it depends from the person in front of me. But the question is, what is PSYCH-K?
Yes.
Okay, so there are many levels. We can see it from a, let's say, technical perspective, from a functional perspective, and from a spiritual standpoint as well. So technically, PSYCH-K is a set of processes, very simple, so simple that we can learn them in 3 days, for real. And they will help us to transform our limiting beliefs, our traumatic experiences, our blockages, our fears. So technically, PSYCH-K is this. And spiritually is a way to align our subconscious mind, which is our kind of autopilot, is the 95% that we all have. And it's full of the things that we have learned since we were kids, and sometimes even before, even in the womb.
Absolutely.
Because we receive a lot of information since when we are in the womb to get to adapt ourselves to the external environment, to our family and so on. So our subconscious mind is full of template patterns that we integrated when we were kids, but when we grow up, we discover that we are more than what our parents, teachers, friends wanted us to be.
Okay.
So we start to connect with our inner voice, with our soul purpose, and we want to transform our subconscious pattern so that they are self-empowering, supportive for us to achieve our soul purpose. So ultimately, PSYCH-K is a way to align our subconscious mind to our soul purpose.
Okay.
To what we call our superconscious mind. Higher self, superconscious, soul purpose, they are just names to describe the same thing.
I agree with you. So if you are talking about the unconditional love that is part of PSYCH-K, can you tell me please, when have you sensed that the unconditional love is part of PSYCH-K? From the workshop, when you went for the first workshop, when you did your first balance, when have you had the conviction that, okay, so PSYCH-K uses the unconditional love in the process of balancing?
Yes, when did I discover this? Wow, that's a nice question. So unconditional love. Unconditional love is a daily challenge. So when I started with PSYCH-K, I had no clue about what was love.
Yes.
And about what was unconditional love. And maybe my first understanding of unconditional love was when I really realized that everybody on this planet is different. Nevertheless, everybody on this planet deserves love and support and compassion. So there is really no any kind of judgment for anyone. So we are just little, piece of a big picture. And when I'm able to sit in a place of unconditional love, it's so funny because there is no fight. There is just accepting whatever it is as it is. Like a piece of a big picture.
Okay.
Even if we as human beings, we will never be able to understand the big picture. But it's funny because the life becomes playful. When you are sitting in unconditional love place, the life is so playful and so funny. There is not such a thing like a struggle or like a fight or like a challenge.
Okay, and I'm curious about what can you tell us about what can be achieved through PSYCH-K sessions? So, for example, if a person that watches us wants to try some sessions with a PSYCH-K facilitator, what they can expect from their sessions?
Okay, so first of all, PSYCH-K is a way to access our inner power.
Okay, good.
So we always say that PSYCH-K is a do-with process, is a collaboration between the facilitator and what we call the partner, who is the receiver. And the power is always in the one who receives. It's never in the one who gives. You know, it's like when you go to your mother and she cooks the most beautiful cake, but you are not hungry. Yeah, so she gives a lot, but you do not receive because that day you are not hungry. You know.
Yes.
So we as facilitator, we have a lot to offer, and yet the responsibility is in the partner, is in the one who receives. So what we can achieve? Often people who ask for sessions, they have a struggle of a variety of field of life. It can be relationship, it can be professional, it can be the perception of ourselves, it can be a fear, it can be something financially connected, it can be a spiritual challenge, it can be a grief. So what we do with PSYCH-K is actually change the perception that we have of the situation, because the reality as such, it doesn't exist. Or at least we don't know whether it exists or not.
Yes,
because
yes.
we can only perceive the reality behind the screen, the lenses of our belief system.
Absolutely.
So the real power is in shaping my belief system in such a way that I can perceive the unconditional love on the other side, you see?
Yes.
So with PSYCH-K, we change our belief system in line with what the partner wants to achieve. We often hear people saying, you create your reality.
Yes.
It's very popular, and it's true, but we do not create our reality with the conscious willpower.
5%? No.
5%?
No.
No. We create it with a subconscious mind, 95%. So the role of the 5% is to make choices, which means to decide which kind of reality do you want to create. It's a conscious choice.
Absolutely.
What do I want? I want a fulfilling relationship. I want to forgive this person. I want to feel at ease in this situation. I want to have the job that I love, you know. I want to appreciate life as it is. I want to be grateful. And the role of the 95, the autopilot, is to integrate all the beliefs that are needed to support this new version of the reality. So basically with PSYCH-K we can really tackle all the things that are connected with our beliefs, which I would say is almost
everything.
Everything.
We have a belief about every aspect of our life.
Everything. I haven't found the boundary of PSYCH-K yet. And sometimes someone asks me about where is the boundary of PSYCH-K, and I say, I don't know, just go and seek it, and when you find it, tell me.
Okay.
The limit is really our imagination. Our inner power is much is wider than we think. And the only way to find the boundary is keep on going. Keep on expand your comfort zone until you find the boundary. Yeah.
Yes, it makes sense. Can you tell us, please, how does it look? For example, a session. What does it happen in 1 hour session, for example?
Okay. So there are a variety of approaches.
Yes.
It depends on the facilitator. So I personally do my first session with a client is 1 hour and a half, so that I have time to explain a bit what is PSYCH-K, to answer to all the questions, and to let them experience the muscle test.
Okay. I would like to ask you, and to tell for the people that don't know, what is the muscle test and why it is used in PSYCH-K,
Yeah.
but afterwards, thank you.
After, okay.
Yes.
So I give them all the details about the processes, and then what is the session? The session starts usually with an issue. So the people come to me or to a facilitator with an issue, or a couple of issues, or a number of issues, and often they are related to daily struggles. At least this is the first level. The first level of the personal evolution is really to resolve the daily struggles. And I help the partner to identify the priority. Very often the daily struggles are connected with each other. There is a root, there is a common root. It can be self-esteem, it can be the anger, it can be a grief that is there since long time. So we discover it together. And then we do a number of balances according to what we are inspired to do. And the beauty of PSYCH-K is that everything that we do is done under the so-called supervision of the superconscious mind of the partner. That is the spiritual part of each of us that takes care that every change that we do is safe and appropriate, which means it doesn't cause any harm, first of all, and that the partner is ready to handle any consequences.
Absolutely.
Because sometimes we are going in the right direction, but we are not yet ready to take all the steps to go to the target.
This is what I love about PSYCH-K, because before starting any balances and before starting to make any changes, you ask the permission. So
Yes.
afterwards, you have like the safety net, and you don't go just, okay, I'm my ego, I want 1 million euro, for example.
Exactly.
And afterwards, in 10 years, you reckon that the 1 million, it was not what you needed in your sole purpose.
Exactly.
So this is what I love about PSYCH-K, that it's giving you this very valuable option that you tested before.
Yes, this is really something that makes PSYCH-K unique, because there are several modalities to achieve subconscious changes. PSYCH-K is fast, it's very fast, and maybe we can talk about it a little bit more about that. And there are modalities that are fast, but that I know, PSYCH-K is the only one that is also safe. Several modalities take for granted that changing is a good idea. It is, but you have to change in the right direction.
In a healthy one.
In an healthy direction. So yes, and this is also very, very, very nice from the facilitator standpoint, because the decision of what to do is not in the hand of the conscious mind, the logic of the facilitator.
Yes.
The wisdom is in the partner, superconscious mind. So it's in the partner, inner wisdom. And we tap in this inner wisdom every time that we do a balance with PSYCH-K.
With the muscle test.
With the muscle test.
Can you tell us a little bit about the muscle test?
Yeah. So the muscle test is used in many modalities. And in itself, it doesn't characterize any modality, because it's just a way to read into the system. And what characterizes a modality is the way that we write, is the way that we change the system.
Absolutely.
So the muscle test was introduced in our culture by Goodhart, the founder of the kinesiology. Sometimes it's also known as a kinesiology test, even if there is a slightly difference between the two. And it's used in many modalities with slightly different characteristics, you know, because every modality adjusted it in their own way, because they want to test different things.
It makes sense.
And what's the idea behind the muscle test is that our subconscious mind is the inner intelligence that also rules the body. You know, we don't manage the muscle or the digestion or the heartbeat with the conscious mind. Otherwise, we would probably be died in 1 second.
We forget to breathe, or
exactly. It's too much of an effort. So the conscious mind manages all the body, including the muscles. So, well, imagine to drink this a sip of water from this cup, how many muscles do I have to use? You know, all the arms and the throat and all the muscle in my chest. So a lot of things.
Absolutely.
And it's just a sip of water. So the point is this. The subconscious mind is also the part of us who handles the emotions. We cannot consciously decide to be happy, or when we are sad, or when we are sad, you can't consciously decide to be happy. Now I'm happy. Suck, magic. So what happens is that when there is these two things, emotions and muscles, are connected, and we all experienced this. For instance, for those people who are sport ones, they perfectly know that. And I was a sport one as well. If you are sad, your performance decreases, right? Absolutely. And if you are happy and joyful, the performances are on top, even over the top.
Absolutely.
And this is why so, because the more we are in joy, the more we have energy. If we are sad, we lose energy. And all this can be kind of detected through the muscle test. So basically the muscle test helps us to understand when we lose energy and when our energy is pristine,
is present.
Is present, you know? And so we use the muscle test, for instance, to test beliefs. And when we say something we do not believe, we lose energy, you know? And our system continuously gives us feedback, biofeedback, about if you are saying the truth, if you are in stress, if we are joyful, continuously. And the muscle test is just a way to be sure of what this feedback, you know. So it's very precise, it's very accurate, and of course it's very precise and very accurate if you know how to do it. Because it's like the apple pie. There is one way to do it right, and thousands of ways to make a mistake. You know, too much sugar, the wrong apple, the oven too hot. So it's very easy to do the muscle test if you know how to do it. And we teach this the first day of the basic workshop. And at the end of the workshop, after 3 days, everybody's very confident and fluent in doing it with themselves and with others.
I really like about PSYCH-K, because I did my research before coming to the workshop, is that the information is kept like inside of the workshop. I mean, you cannot, if you are looking, for example, on the internet, and I'm like a nice guru on the internet, I can do lots of searches. But before I came to the workshop, I didn't find any meaningful information on how to do PSYCH-K, and I like that, because it's normally to receive it and to download it when you go to the workshop, so that you don't try to be like a facilitator without doing the workshop. So this is one thing that I really like about it. Can you tell us, please, about the change and about the speed of how the processes are happening in PSYCH-K, because you told us earlier that you want to talk a little bit about this subject.
Okay, yeah. The PSYCH-K triggers a fast learning process. When we speak about changing at subconscious level of the mind, we always speak about habits, changing habits, because really subconscious mind is the autopilot.
Yes.
So changing belief means really changing habits. And there are two types of way to change habits. The most popular one is the one we have learned in school, which is repeat until it happens.
Repeat
Until
it happens.
Yeah, and then we have learned how to write or to walk or to drive or to play piano if we play an instrument. So the majority of the things that we have learned in our life were learned by a repeating process.
Yes.
That sometimes works and sometimes it doesn't. Because first, if you don't like what you are repeating, then it's very hard to actually integrate it. And second, it requires a lot of effort and regular efforts, a long time. And there is another way. That is fast learning, and it's what happens. We all had this experience when we had a trauma, or when we had an epiphany, which is the same thing. You know, in America they call it aha moment.
Yeah? Eureka.
It makes sense, you know, aha moment. So when we have a trauma, for instance, when we all got burnt, for instance, with a candle or with a stove or with the fire when we were kids.
Yes.
So how many times did you have to repeat it?
Once.
Once was enough. So it must be another way. There must be another way rather than repeating. There, just one shot, you know?
Yes.
And this is interesting because as biological beings on this planet, we must have this fast learning experience because we cannot afford to touch the fire 200 or 200,000 times
to learn.
Because we will die.
Yes.
So when we are in front of a branch, either you die or you learn. The system, the life, wisdom, focuses all its energy and capabilities in learning.
In change.
And it's so effective that we can learn in a couple of seconds. And this is what now neuroscientists have understood what happens in the brain when this fast learning process is triggered, and they call it whole brain state, which means that both hemispheres of the brain are synchronized, are consistent, are communicating at best, maximum speed, coherence, and constructive interference, and blah, blah, blah. And we have also discovered how to recreate this state through postures.
Excellent.
And so what PSYCH-K does is actually to use these postures within a procedures that we call balance, that also grants that every change is safe and appropriate, is done with the supervision of the superconscious mind. So we use this fast learning process with a couple of exceptions. First, you are not going to get burnt, so it's very gentle. The process in itself is very gentle. It's done with the supervision of the superconscious mind, so it's not harmful, and it's sure that we go in the right direction for the person who makes the changes, that is the partner. You know?
Okay. What about the PSYCH-K balances? Can you do it in person, online, on the phone? How does it work?
Anything. So we, at the basic workshop, we learn how to do them in person.
Yes.
And there are other workshops through which we can learn to do them remotely, both with the video and on the phone. and it requires a bit more of knowledge with respect to what we learn at the basic workshop, but it's equally effective. It's equally. The most of the time I do online sessions because I'm all over the places.
You travel all around the world, right?
All over the places. So it's much easier for me to plan for an online session rather than sitting beside someone who is beautiful, who certainly has his beauty, but sometimes it's just not doable for me. And like this, we can serve many more people in the world because we don't have to travel to reach them and to support them.
Can you give us 2 examples of balances that you've done and it was like, wow, I cannot believe that this happened with persons or clients that you had in your sessions? Like,
okay, so first I'll give you one with myself.
Please, yes.
My first balance.
Is it told that the first you never forgot it?
Yeah, it's the same. That's my first balance. My first balance after the basic workshop, because I did, of course, some balances during the basic workshop. During the workshop, you do some balances because you already tackled something. And so when I went back home, it was 2008. For my basic workshop, my issue was a miscarriage. So I felt very sad for that. I felt very guilty for that. A number of things that are very common in the women who had such an experience. So when I went back from my basic workshop, I did a balance around this, and we balance goal statements. So we balance in order to integrate in our subconscious mind new beliefs. And the new beliefs are stated through affirmation, basically. And the affirmation was, I forgive myself for the miscarriage. And the forgiveness is very powerful. And so I did this balance, and it took me maybe 5-6 minutes. This is the time, let's say, reasonable time for a balance. And I remember that I closed my eyes. I was sat in the couch of my living room in Torino, in Italy, and I closed my eyes, and I felt a gentle wind, a breeze coming, and there was a carpet in front of me, and I for real perceived as if a number of fairies were coming and sitting around the carpet.
Yes.
And supporting me with their feminine energy. And I tell you, I'm not a visual one, not at all. But it was so real, and I felt so supported by that, but all this feminine energy, that I had no doubt that everything was okay. So when the balance finished, I really felt, like a click. I was in another level. And from that moment onward, it was really smoother. Before getting the PSYCH-K workshop, I was really, do I leave or do I give up? Seriously. And then I decide, well, if this happened, it must have a purpose. And the purpose is being of service for other people who are having the same experiences. And after that balance, I was not only sure that was the right choice, but I was not alone. So that was really something. And that was about me. And about clients, I have so many stories. Well, for instance, people sometimes come to me with fears, like phobias, fear of flying, and or fear of taking the elevators. Sometimes they are maybe stupid thing, or fear to drive in the motorway. This is something that we can resolve with one balance. Once I had a lady who came to my cabinet, and she was very sad because she had a young girl, a daughter, 4 years old, and she was very sad because she believed she had no time enough to stay with the daughter. So we had a discussion, and finally she said, I am afraid of driving in the motorway, so that every morning I have to take the normal way. It takes me 1 hour and a half to get to the job rather than 20 minutes.
Oh.
So let's do a balance. You will save 2 hours per day if you are able to take the motorway.
Absolutely.
And these are for your daughter.
Mm-hmm.
So we just did one balance, and she was able since the next day to drive in the motorway.
In the motorway.
So it's beautiful because we have, at subconscious level, we have patterns for everything, for everything. And changing these patterns is very easy, if you know how to do it, of course.
Yes.
And even a little thing, like the ability to drive in the motorway, can be a life shift, you know?
Absolutely.
And so it's beautiful. I had a client who was I have so many stories that it will take us days.
Please.
I had a client who was allergic to the color red.
Allergic.
So she couldn't see red things on the table.
Ah, okay. I
Or
understand
she
now.
couldn't dress red. Or she was upset when someone else had a red jumper.
Okay,
You see?
because she had something inside of her that reacted to the red color.
Yeah, because
belief.
Belief. The subconscious mind works toward connections. So maybe she had an issue with someone who dressed in red, and since that moment, the red color was annoying. So it might look a little thing, but if you are allergic to red, there is always an antenna within you that is trying to see where the red is around you. So it's a lot of inner stress.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, she was very, very nervous. We did one balance, and that went away. So these sort of things
Okay.
and more.
It's interesting. I never thought that with the balances you can do this thing as well. So I'm like,
Yeah, clients are really interesting because they bring you a variety of possibilities. I mean, after 12 years, I've met 2,000 people, 2,000 different stories, beautiful stories, and I've learned from everybody, from everybody. And of course, one popular thing is relationships, because when we are always in a relationship with someone, with whomever, and we don't realize that we're not in a relationship with the person as it is. We are in a relationship with the archetype that it represents.
Yes.
So, for instance, if you have glasses,
Yes.
and my kindergarten teacher had glasses, if I had a nice relationship with her, I spontaneously love you more than the average.
Yes.
If I had a bad relationship with her, then your glasses trigger something not nice within me, and so I'm biased. We are always biased when we meet someone. Rarely we see, the divine being in the others. We are biased. And so the more that we cleanse these biases, the more we are in peace. Because we can see the other the way they are. And that's beautiful. Nothing is harmful. So PSYCH-K is super powerful in smoothing the relationship with whomever.
Even with ourselves. This
Sure.
is what I really enjoyed in the advanced workshop that I took, because when I had to do the relationship balance, first relationship balance, it was with me, because it's like a mirror. Every relationship that you have in life, it's actually a mirror of how your relationship is with yourself.
Yes, so true, so true. Yeah.
And the other thing that I love about the advanced workshop, it was about the the balance that you do about the death and how you come in this life as well. That's like a really, really powerful balance that you can do. Just to be peaceful about how you came to this world and how you live it, because lots of us have bad bad ideas about living this life. So you can balance and have it all set up.
See, that's true. This is the life bonding balance.
Yes.
And it was a huge leap for myself when I took my advanced workshop. Yeah, I think that was probably my first spiritual experience.
Okay.
Yeah, for real. This sort of experience that when you have it, you cannot put them into words, because it's so beyond the ability to explain it, but it's really a cleansing of the fear, a cleansing of the trauma of birth, which is, even if the birth experience was at its best, I mean, the womb was so cozy that it's a trauma in any case. And the fear of the dying is sort of a background fear for almost everybody on this planet. So if you can just release this fear, that's a life shift.
And to live your life with courage, that you don't, this is beautiful.
Yeah, just enjoy it. Dying is just like going in the other room. It's not that it's finished. It's just the background changes, but
excellent.
It keeps on going.
Irene, I'm curious about yourself. What is the impact that you want to have in the world?
Well, that's a very powerful question. And we have impact on everybody we meet every day. Even it can be a student, it can be a client, it can be somebody on the street, So the impact that I would love to be is just to bring more joy and more awareness to people. And I know it's possible because it was like this for me. It's my journey. So, and it's really through love, through what do people want? They want to be loved. They want to be accepted the way they are. So the impact that I want to have is doing my best to accept the people the way they are and to honor their talents and their diversity so that they can be confident in themselves.
So nice.
So yeah, I want to bring, I love teaching Psych-K. Of course, I do private sessions and I'm happy to do private sessions, but during private sessions, you help people to resolve this and this and that, but the power is still somehow a collaboration.
Absolutely.
But I love to empower people so that they can be independent in creating the life they want. So bringing this awareness and helping people to collaborate to the collective consciousness evolution, because we are in a moment on Earth that is so precious, so exciting, and the challenge is that we are evolving toward being an organism, towards synarchy, what is called synarchy. So the contribution is to create, to contribute, to create this consciousness.
Really nice, and I understand what you are telling, because like you already taught me in the basic and afterwards in the advanced workshop, and I'm thinking about the people that I meet in my private session and the impact that I can have, because you trained one.
Exactly.
Yes, and afterwards, to be honest, now I thought about it. In the last 6 months, I had like more than 300 people that I met, and that I helped them with Psych-K balances.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's a wave. It's a snowball effect.
Yes.
There is nothing such a thing like a little contribution, because it's a wave that you create, and the wave keeps on going, and you don't even know how far it
Far it
goes
goes.
And how powerful it will be in its journey.
Absolutely.
So it's an exercise of non-attachment. So I teach and let go. I
Let go.
teach and let go. This is my version of motherhood. I do not have child, but this is my version of motherhood.
Excellent. Okay. Irene, can you tell us please what are the next projects, what you are doing in the near future?
In the near future. So I like having projects, and with PSYCH-K I've learned that I must not be attached to my project, because there is a higher wisdom who sometimes takes care of my project and sometimes disrupts my project. So consciously my projects are to enjoy life, stay with nature, and tap in the wisdom of the universe, to get inspired. Get inspired to do what? My goal is always to increase my contribution to the global evolution of consciousness. So in the material world, my project would be to expand my ability to spread PSYCH-K, especially abroad, because I'm happy to be in Italy, I'm happy to teach in Italy, and at the same time there are so many places in the world who are not aware of PSYCH-K, and I love to explore these places and to bring PSYCH-K there. And I love to work with big groups, because the field that is created in the big groups is so much more powerful, stronger. And so these are the goal, to expand abroad and to work with larger group, which is currently happening. And so it seems that the universe agrees with my plan.
Yes,
until
because
now.
you are already doing it. Absolutely, yes.
I'm already doing it. And I'm also creating a new workshop besides PSYCH-K, that puts together more or less all my knowledge, starting from science. And its name is Applied Transcendence.
Okay, so nice. It's first time when I hear it. So.
Yeah, probably it's the first time that I share it.
Excellent.
Yeah, you know, as I said, I have a degree in physics. And my mother, she had a degree in physics. My father was an engineer. So I have, you know, a background, a very logical background. And but they were also very spiritual people. So in my family, there was a blend, you know, of science and spirituality. And in one of my workshops, PSYCH-K workshop, I had a guy saying, I was in Italy, and at that time there were 4 instructors, PSYCH-K instructors in Italy at that time. Today we are just 2 of us. And this guy told me, I decided to come and learn PSYCH-K from you because you are a scientist, so what you say is true. No! Science doesn't say what is true. It says what is scientific. There is a huge difference between these 2 things. So it was 2016, and then I decided I should contribute to clarify the difference between what is scientific and what is true.
Sure.
And so the seed was planted at that time, and so little by little I'm creating this workshop that starts from what is science, and provides a map, a compass to travel what is not scientific, which is by chance the 95%.
Absolutely, yes.
And I think it's very useful because, you know, there are many people trying to find a solution somewhere else, but they have no clue how to navigate the invisible, you know? So the goal of this is a sort of an guide to navigate the invisible and to choose what you really need, rather just trial and error. So this is something that I have in my heart, and it's almost also on paper. And so let's see if the universe is going to support me in this. If it approves, it will become sooner or later something real besides PSYCH-K. And so these are the plans.
Thank you so much. And what about the next workshop? When are you coming back in Romania to
teach?
To
the
teach,
next basic?
yes.
Very, 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 very likely.
Yes.
In spring next
In spring.
year.
Okay. So if
March, April.
March, April. If there are more people watching this video and want to become facilitators of PSYCH-K, we can keep in touch. And in March or April, we're gonna do two trainings. I'm thinking one in Bucharest and one in Cluj-Napoca. So that way we can cover all Romania in some way.
Okay. Super.
Excellent. So, Irene, do you feel that it's something else to add on our conversation?
Maybe one thing about being a facilitator. So what does it mean being a facilitator? So with this basic workshop, it's a 3 days workshop, and people who attend the workshop will become facilitator, which means you will be able to transform your own subconscious beliefs and subconscious memories and patterns and habits and blockages and whatever, and also with yourself, by yourself, and with others. Let's say in a friendship context, not in a professional frame, but it's very powerful because PSYCH-K is very simple. And you will get instructions. You just need to read them and do them, and the change is there. So the opportunity for the basic workshop is really to become 100% responsible of the reality that we create. What I appreciate of PSYCH-K is that we really can be 100% responsible. This is the major shift that I had in my life. Before PSYCH-K, I was used to, complain about this and that, it's your fault, and this and that. After PSYCH-K, it's just my responsibility to create whatever I want. So there is not such a thing like someone else is guilty. There is just that it's something happens, it's an ingredient, and I can use it to create what I want.
So nice.
It's really empowering, we waste so much energy in our life in complaining about others. That is such a relief to be able to get rid of these patterns and have this energy and use this energy to create what we want, rather than fighting against what we don't want.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, so Irene, it was a real pleasure to have you here, and I'm really glad that you accepted my invitation. I'm looking forward to meet you again in the next, who knows, we can do a second interview if we receive some questions or curiosities about what is PSYCH-K.
Yeah.
And as well, we're going to meet because in the next few days, we're going to be in Bucharest for the advanced workshop that is taking place right here. I'm going second time because I want to do it in my home country as well. We first met in Hungary. No, second time. It was in Hungary with advance, and it's a pleasure every time. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for inviting me, and thank you all for listening. And if you have any questions or curiosity or whatever, please contact Mihail.
Or yourself as well, irenemenis.com or .it. Okay, we're going to put all the links in the description.
And I will be happy to answer in English. I'm sorry for the time being, my Romanian is really poor.
Or to be honest, like 7%, I really checked, 7% of the people that are watching our materials are living in Italy because lots of Romanians live in Italy. So
it's true. Okay.
So you never know.
So you can write me in Italian or in English.
Yes. Okay. Thank you so much, Irene.
Thank you for
It was a
having
pleasure.
me. Same for me. Thank you and thank you.
Om bun, dacă ți-a plăcut acest material și dacă vrei în viitor să devii și tu facilitator pentru metoda PSYCH-K, te invit să intri pe site-ul vibrațiînalte.ro sau pe linkurile pe care le regăsești în descrierea acestui videoclip și în zona de comentarii. Astfel, poți să iei parte la workshop-urile unde vei învăța această metodă și în felul acesta poți să te ajuți pe tine și pe ceilalți în orice moment al vieții tale. Te îmbrățișez și dacă ai întrebări sau curiozități, m-aș bucura tare mult să-mi lași un comentariu și voi răspunde cu prima ocazie. Toate cele bune! Te iubesc!